wellness revolution starts now.
Hello, I'm Dr. Steve Hotze. Welcome to the program today. I am pleased to introduce to you a guest of ours here at the Hotze Health Wellness Center, Tony Sims. Tony, glad to have you today, sir.
Glad to be here.
Tony has been a guest now for a little over 3 months, I think.
3 months,
right?
Yeah.
And he has a really remarkable story, and he decided, sometime before he came in, he was going to take charge of his health. And this is what I believe. He made a great decision because everybody needs to take charge of their health. You're in charge of your health. The government's not in charge of your health. Your insurance company's not in charge of your health. Your doctor's not in charge of your health. Your wife or your spouse is not in charge of your health. You're in charge of your health, and you can decide you can be a healthy person or you can be a sick person. It's up to you. All we do here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center is try to encourage people that have the self-discipline, want to take charge of their health, and just want some direction. We make recommendations. We don't put a gun to anybody's head. You can do whatever you want to do, but you pay good money to come in and to get some recommendations and accountability and get some coaching, and that's what we do here. Tony came in, and I want you to hear his story. So, Tony, tell us about your situation prior to coming in, health situation. How had you been doing, and what made you decide to come in?
Well, I was just feeling tired. Just at the point in my life, I was feeling tired, fatigued, I had brain fog. I'd kind of accepted brain fog as the new normal. Found myself sleeping later, crawling out of bed. Had lost some motivation, some self-confidence, and just overall had what you'd call the blahs.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so... And how long has that been going on? How long had that been just gradual downward trend over a period of years or what?
I would say over the last 10 years. Yeah. It really started noticing in the last few years, muscle loss, even working out. I found it was no matter how hard I worked out, how much I exercised, I was shedding some weight, but I had kind of plateaued and just couldn't get the rest of the weight off, especially in my chest area, and just wasn't building any muscle mass.
And this is common. This is what happens as we age. And what happens in males is a very important hormone declines starting in by the time you hit 30, and that's your testosterone level. Testosterone is the male hormone, and it affects our initiative, our assertiveness, our sense of well-being, our self-confidence, our moods, our goal orientation, our drive, our directiveness, our decisiveness, our analytical ability. Notice these are all brain functions. Most people think, testosterone has to do with my sex drive. Well, it does affect that, obviously, but it affects your brain function, the production of neurotransmitter. Hormones, both male and female hormones, affect people's thinking, their brains, the way they function. And if you want to have strong male pattern behavior, you got to keep good testosterone levels. So as males mature, they peak in their early 20s in testosterone. By the time they're 30 to 40, it's dropped now by a half. By the time they're 50, it's a third of what it was when they were in their 20s. By the time they're 60, it's getting down in the gutter. And then by the time you're 70, you don't have it. It's gone. And so that affects your muscle tone and muscle mass as well, your cardiovascular functions, romantic moods and inclinations, as well as brain functions. So what you're describing to me is just the gradual, we call it andropause. Women have menopause. They stop making the hormones. Males just gradually decline in their hormones. And so it's from day to day, it doesn't make a big difference. But over a period of years, you can see, I just don't have the drive I have, or I don't have the muscle tone I had. So obviously, there's something that can be done about that. If your glass of water is half full and you want a full glass of water, you fill it up. If your testosterone level is half full or a quarter full, you fill up the tank with testosterone. Okay. So how'd you hear about our center, Tony?
Well, I say divine intervention.
Okay.
We have a mutual friend that invited me back in September of last year, 2022, to the Christian
Patriot Conference.
Rally. Yeah, and so it was a Saturday morning. I had to get up early and didn't feel like getting up early and dragging myself out of bed, right? But I did. And so at that event, I met you, met some of your staff, and you gave us a gift bag that had some of your books in it. And, of course, other books available in the lobby. And so I'm a book addict, so I start diving into that and reading the book. But before that, I'd already made the decision at the end of 2021 to just opt out of the mainstream healthcare and health insurance cartel. And I had joined a medical cost sharing community. And part of that commitment to the community and to myself was to take charge and take control of my health and live a healthier lifestyle. So I had made that decision already.
Now, you mentioned you'd gone to some conventional doctors in the past, right?
Yeah. About 10 years ago, I went to a cardiologist just to have a stress test and get a checkup. And at that point, I was at the heaviest I've probably ever been, okay? And so I kind of knew what the diagnosis was going to be. Heart was okay, thank goodness, but he prescribed cholesterol medication for elevated cholesterol, blood pressure medication, and I was suffering from heartburn and acid reflux.
Right.
So he prescribed pills for that.
Little blue pill, I bet, Nexium.
Something at the time, something else.
Yeah.
I forget the prescription. But I asked him, and already knew the answer. I said, what can I do to avoid getting on this medication? And his answer was short and sweet. Nothing. It's genetics, and you'll be on it for the rest of your life. And I thought to myself then, I said, I don't think so.
Right.
And so later on, when I was at the county position, we have a great nurse practitioner, and she had diagnosed me with low testosterone.
Okay.
Along with elevated cholesterol, things like that. And she had recommended, you can do the cream for low
Right.
testosterone. You can do pellets or you can do injections, which meant coming by the office, once per week and doing that. And I traveled a lot. So I said, well, that's really not an option. But I think what you hit on earlier, if it's not noticeably affecting your sex drive, you think you don't have a testosterone
Right.
problem or don't need to deal with it. So I didn't deal with it. And so when I came in here to see you, I was really surprised that, you immediately put me on testosterone injections and coached me into administering the first injection myself. And I found out I'm going to be able to do that at home.
Yep.
Or if I'm traveling at the
Right.
hotel or wherever I am. And that was such a relief, because that was a barrier to me doing what I needed to do, was the inconvenience.
Exactly. And being able to give your own testosterone injections at home. Now, there's other modalities we use for treating with testosterone. You can use capsules, you can use creams, use suppositories, you can use pellets. I particularly like, and we use all but the pellets here at the Hotze Health Wellness Center, but I believe in the injections. I started taking testosterone injections when I was 46 years old. I'm 72 now, and I take an injection every week. In fact, I have one sitting in on that table right now for me to take today. The nurse brought it in so I can give myself an injection. And that's why I'm at 72 still going and blowing, because I've got plenty I like to keep my testosterone levels in the range of a 20 to 30-year-old. That's when I was at my peak. Why would I want testosterone levels of a 70 to 80-year-old? all the guys I know that are 70, 80 that aren't on testosterone, they look like death warmed over. I mean, they don't have any drive, or it's just it's really pathetic. Testosterone is so powerful. When should you start taking it? I recommend taking it early. I maybe started too late at 46, but I did great and continue to do it, and we recommend it. So it's interesting that your first physician, obviously, was a conventional doctor, and he didn't care about testosterone or anything like that. He wanted to put you on, he'd check your cholesterol. It was elevated, so it says, well, you got a cholesterol problem, and we're going to have to put you on anti-cholesterol medications, the statin drugs, which I don't believe in. We don't use them here at the Hotze Health Wellness Center. We know that cholesterol is a very powerful and important molecule that your body produces. And it's important for the building of your hormones, of vitamin D, of testosterone, the female hormones, the adrenal hormones are all made from the basic substance of cholesterol. Every cell in your body has a cholesterol ring. Cholesterol's important for all the nerves, the myelin sheath on all your nerves in your body, and in brain function. So, and the people that die of heart attacks, half of them have normal cholesterol levels. So cholesterol isn't the bogeyman, the bad problem. It was part of a marketing tool by the drug companies to say, oh, it's cholesterol's causing a problem, so they could sell statin drugs, which have a host of side effects, and they destroy the ability to produce coenzyme Q10. I'm not for any of that. I don't worry about cholesterol levels. And it's interesting, when we checked your heart scan, there was no atherosclerosis, no hardening of your arteries at all, despite the fact that you'd had elevated cholesterol. As a matter of fact, people over the age of 50 with elevated cholesterols live longer than people that have low cholesterol levels. It's important. And when these people get on statin drugs, it just sucks the cholesterol out of their brains and their bodies. And what happens to them is they get cognitive dysfunction when they take these statin drugs. And some people get global amnesia. So it can be that could be a serious problem. Don't put those chemicals in your body. We never have used them. I've never prescribed them for any of our guests, and our people do fine. And let me explain one other thing to you, and that's about heart attacks. Most people think heart attacks, because of the drug companies, that cholesterol causes heart attacks. Cholesterol doesn't cause heart attacks. What causes you to have a heart attack is inflammation in your coronary arteries, which can be caused by heavy metals like mercury amalgams in your teeth, or lead, or cooking with aluminum. It can be caused by bacteria in your gums or in your teeth, or if you have root canals. All these things can cause inflammation in the coronary arteries. When the arteries are inflamed, your body doesn't like inflammation in the arteries because they get raw and they can break down. And when that happens, your body doesn't want your arteries to tear apart. So it collects cholesterol as a Band-Aid to patch it. And then it absorbs calcium to make it rigid. This is the body's mechanism to heal an artery. Well, what you don't want to, and unfortunately, if you have chronic inflammation, then your arteries get harder and harder. You get more atherosclerosis. Next thing you know, you can throw a plaque off and you get a heart attack. Well, the best thing to do is to prevent inflammation in your coronary arteries. And you do that by getting rid of any, don't putting in root canals in your mouth, getting rid of root canals. Don't have mercury amalgams, get rid of them if you have them. Keep good oral hygiene, and make sure you eat healthy. And then you can take your vitamins and minerals, vitamin C, vitamin D, K2, testosterone. All these strengthen your cardiovascular function in your coronary arteries. It's been shown to do that. And you're proof of it. Even though you had elevated cholesterol, you didn't have any hardening of the arteries. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and we've seen people with normal cholesterol that have hardening of the arteries. That tells me you don't have inflammation in your arteries. Now, had you been taking vitamins and minerals?
Yeah, so that's another thing. And I had, at about that same time, went to a local doctor and had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy.
Right.
Because of the heartburn issue.
Right.
It's the same thing. Everything checked out fine there. No good explanation for the heartburn. Here's another prescription for heartburn medication.
Right.
And I was taking supplements, just good over-the-counter supplements, and had taken supplements for years, but with no real plan or means or method of monitoring the results, right? Wasn't having regular blood tests. And so probably wasn't getting the benefit, spending a lot of money on supplements, and it was kind of a shotgun approach.
Whatever you've done, you're doing right, because you don't have any apparent inflammation in your coronary arteries. You got no hardening of the arteries. That's good. I happen to be 72. I've got no hardening of my arteries either. I've got a 0 score, and at my age, it's maybe 1 in 100 people would have a natural or normal. Mm-hmm. But I've been a big promoter of vitamins, minerals, and supplements, and our listeners know that. What's important is, I believe, vitamin C. I'm a big advocate, like Linus Pauling was, of vitamin C. I take minimally 12,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C. I take 10,000 international units of vitamin D. That's important. I take my testosterone, and I have a good multivitamin. I take coenzyme Q10 for the heart, and a host of other vitamins. I take more vitamins than anybody that buys from our vitamin store downstairs, and I have for years. So, so how long did it take you to start feeling like you were getting your life back, Tony?
Well, I would say, and keep in mind, I'm 57.
Right.
I'll be 58 in about 2 weeks.
Hey, enjoy
so,
your youth while you've got it, sir.
No, I feel like I'm 37 or 38. You know, I'm going
backwards.
We were talking, earlier, and I said, most people my age are talking about retirement, and I'm talking about ideas and dreams, and opportunities. Yeah.
So, how long did it take after you came to see us before you really felt like you were getting your game back?
Less than 30 days.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, less than 30 days, because I walk 4 miles every day. I try to stay healthy.
And you've been doing that all along.
Been doing it for a couple of years.
Right.
Had some good results, but it plateaued. But no, I would like to say 2 weeks. Believe it or not.
When you started on that testosterone, sir, that I tell you this, testosterone will put a tiger back in your tank.
Absolutely.
It does. It makes a huge difference in the way men feel and their overall aggressiveness and attitude and desire to make something happen. You think about it like this: you've been in business all your life, right? You got a lot of world experience about doing things. You got your own consulting business now, right?
Correct.
Working with the
refineries, chemical plants.
Right. So you train people down there on what procedures do you train them on?
So I train them on American Petroleum Institute standards.
To do what? I mean, what are they?
For refractory workers, brick refractory linings inside processing units. Yeah. So I train for quality control and how to pass the American Petroleum Institute exams, things like that.
And you're in business for yourself?
In business. My business is 30 years old this year.
So you've got a lot of experience in this field, right?
Absolutely.
So remember when you first got started, you had all that drive to build the business, but you didn't quite know how to build it and didn't know what you're doing? And you slowly you ran into walls and slowly you figured it out. Now here you are 30 years later, you're 57. And there are people out there listening to us, either men or women. You've got husbands like this. They've got all this experience, but now the drive isn't there. The goal orientation in there, their attention, their brain function, it's not there. And they got all this experience, but they don't have the drive they had when they were young. What if you could couple the drive that you had when you were a young man with the experience you have as a mature man now? You put those together, all of a sudden, sir, you're going to do extremely well. So this is what I've told people for years, Tony, that have come into to our center. This goes back into the 90s when we started using testosterone. I used to tell men, if you're in business for yourself, or if you're in sales, don't blame me if you've doubled your income within 2 years. And they go, I said, I'm serious. As a matter of fact, I've often thought what I ought to do with men like you that are entrepreneurs, don't charge you a dime. Just take 10% of the growth in your income.
Well, when I come back in a year from now, you're going to wish you'd have made that deal with me because I promise you I'm already on track this year to more than triple it.
Wow.
I'm taking on opportunities that I normally would have passed up, taking massive action on some goals. But outside of that, I was going to say, isn't that what the world needs right now?
Amen. People
our age, with our wisdom and our experience, with the energy to share and mentor and coach and guide, be a guide for the next generation.
Exactly.
But instead, we're petering out and laying on the couch and retiring, and all of that knowledge and wisdom is going to waste because we don't have the energy.
This is what I believe and I focus on Christian patriots and Christians. We help anybody and everybody, but we tend to attract Christians at our practice because we're very outspoken in our faith and our values and our beliefs. So I really want to raise up Christian warriors that are willing to stand up and take back our culture. That's what we need. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm proud to have, because I know you've been very active in the Republican Party in where are you, in Chambers County?
Chambers County, yes.
You've been active over there and been a leader. And we need you to continue to provide that leadership. At your age, we need you to keep marching on. We need strong leaders because otherwise the ungodly, the communists, the socialists are going to take over the country.
Yeah,
and so we've got to stop them, and we've got to be healthy. You've got to be healthy, and that's what I want to encourage. And that's why I really appreciate you coming in, Tony. Let me ask you, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best you've ever felt in your life, we'll say 0, or how would have you rated yourself? What level would have you rated yourself when you came in?
Oh, I would say at about a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you say you are now?
I'm at least a 9.
Okay. So
I would say 10, but I want to leave room
you
for
want to
improvement.
growth. There you go. So you made a big turnaround.
Huge.
And you can make that same turnaround. And I want to encourage you to consider taking charge of your health. If we can help you here at the Hotze Health Wellness Center, we're glad to do that. And I would encourage you to give a call, and we have our phone number on the line there, 281-698-8698. Call up. Ask for a copy of my book, Do a 180. It's a short little book. I don't know if I have it right here. A short little book gives you our approach to natural approaches to health. Then get a copy and ask for a copy of my book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness. And I talk about both male and female hormones in there, and that can be very helpful to you. And I would encourage you to do that. Give a call and say, Dr. Hotze, and this is a free book. I'll give it to you free. We'll ship it to you. We won't charge you for it. I want you to have it because I want you to be healthy and well. I know that healthy and well people tend to do a whole lot better and have happier lives than people that are sick and tired. So, and Tony's an example of that. Mm-hmm. So don't hesitate to give us a call if you want to take charge of your health. We're glad to serve you and partner with you in that investment in your own health. We'll be glad to do that. Tony, thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you for taking charge of your health and getting back on the path of health and wellness. Let's go get them for the next 30 or 40 years.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Let's do it.
God bless you.
God bless
Thank you all.
At Physicians Preference Pharmacy, we understand that the quality of your compounded medications directly affects the way you feel, which is why we believe that your pharmacy should specialize in compounding medications while also delivering extraordinary hospitality and guest service. We believe that both patients and prescribers should accept nothing less than consistency and quality from their compounding pharmacy. This is why we've implemented some of the strictest quality standards in compounding, exceeding standard requirements, achieving PCAB accreditation, which is the Pharmacy Compounding Accreditation Board, an organization that sets the highest standards in compounding pharmacy regarding the safety, cleanliness, and quality of your compounded prescriptions. Because of our commitment to complete health and wellness, we are dedicated to making your medications free of lactose, parabens, artificial sweeteners, and any unnecessary dyes, binders, or fillers present in many other medications, offering you the cleanest products possible.
Information provided on this program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this program is at the listener's discretion.